Hey guys, today's story is about a horny bard with a little bit of a twist. I DM'd once for a horny bard that just wouldn't quit, and it wasn't fun for me. But instead of writing some long post detailing the entire length of my short and grueling campaign, I'm just going to talk about what made the whole length of the campaign awkward. Verity, the tiefling bard. The party, midway through the campaign, shocked me by joining up with the BBG, which was totally awesome by the way. However, to prove themselves to the big bad, they needed to do a job for him. They needed to track down a band of troublesome defectors and kill them all. You know, the usual kill quest. However, the BBEG didn't entirely have reason to trust the party yet, so he assigned his lieutenant, a Gnoll barbarian, to assist and keep tabs on the party. The bard was instantly attracted to this Gnoll like you wouldn't believe, despite her character being married and a mother, and the player's real-life husband playing the party's paladin. Verity wanted to bang this Gnoll. No, she needed to bang this Gnoll. This would be the player's priority until the campaign ended. The bard was making move after move on this Gnoll every chance she had. It wouldn't stop. The very plot of the campaign was lost to Verity. The party was stranded on the cursed island of GTFO, and that no longer mattered to her because they were stranded together. Possibly forever, which was bad for me. I wanted the campaign stakes to be high, but I'm the DM. The stakes shouldn't be weighed against me like this. Eventually the party found the defectors, and combat began. Things went horribly, and if it hadn't been for the Gnoll tanking hits for the party, it was looking like a TPK. The sorcerer had died, and was eaten by a giant hyena, and to make combat easier, with the hopes of avoiding the imminent TPK, I had two of the defectors flee from combat. But what was going to save the party was the other two players agreeing to retreat. Good idea. What went wrong though? Well, the bard wanted to dash to the far end of the room and loot the 3 chests that I had described. You know, the exact opposite of retreating, which, if you didn't know, the definition for retreat is an act of moving back or withdrawing. And there it is. Wouldn't you know it, the bard picks the middle chest. The middle chest, which was a mimic that I had put there to surprise the party after the fight. You know, the time that you should be looting at, not before. I sigh and pause for a moment, and then describe the chest baring its teeth and biting down on the bard's forearms, with only 2 hit points remaining. Luckily, through the combined effort of the Gnoll and the paladin, they were able to separate the two, and the bard succeeded on her death saves. I described one of the Gnoll defectors mounting one of the giant hyenas and... Whoa, 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 stop! I hear. Mount. As in, mounting a horse. Or, summon your mount in an RPG. You know, what any normal person would think of when you say, mount. My players, however, thought I was describing a sex act, and if this isn't clear enough, my players aren't normal people. After clearing this up, and it shouldn't have been a thing needed to begin with, I described the enemy Gnoll riding away. This is a retreat. This needed to be said. Fortunately, the paladin and Gnoll were able to knock him off his mount and finish the job. Afterwards, the party looted the room and somehow lost a magic item. The paladin opened up chest number 1 and casted Detect Magic. I told him that the chest contained a rusted -1 weapon that didn't quite look like it was going to help him. The paladin opened chest number 3, and it contained a few gold pieces, rubies, and a good-looking bag. The paladin ignored this loot because he didn't want to haul it all. The party had just passed up a ruby of the war mage, and a bag of holding which could have been used to haul everything. I dropped hints, which were all ignored. The party left the body of the sorcerer, and he had the paladin's magic sword, and it's still there to this day. When the party left the building, the paladin tried to carry the bard, but rolled low, so the Gnoll barbarian carried her.
Oh, I wake up and passionately kiss him,
said the bard. You're unconscious for a few hours, I said in return. The next session, the bard nearly died again, and the sorcerer made a deal with the devil and nearly killed himself again. And the job was done. Their job for the big bad. Verity was still on a mission to get boned. And you might be wondering, who is this mysterious Gnoll barbarian? Is he handsome? Is he gentle? Even romance material? No, he's not. It's at this point that I had the bard roll insight on this barbarian to just figure out what his agenda was, and she got a nat 20.
He's a brutal killer that feels absolutely nothing towards you. He looks up to his boss and is here to make sure that you don't lie about the completion of the job,
is what I told her. Now, you would think that the power of a nat 20 insight check would mean that the information given to you was uncontestable, right? No. The bard's player didn't believe me. The bard's player didn't believe what I, the DM, was telling her. I told her that this was absolute. The ship had sunk, and she didn't believe me. And the worst part about the Gnoll was his name. What was his name, you might ask? It was Bone. The bard wanted to bone Bone. I got inspiration for the name from the Warrior Cat series. It's great. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. But back on topic. Why did I have to pick Bone? Just why? Now, the most important thing I have to say during the climax of the story was my relationship with the bard. Just why was I so reluctant to humor her? Well, the paladin was my father, the sorcerer, and problem player, was my brother, and the bard was my mother. Yep. This whole time this was a family campaign, and my mother wanted to get intimate with a fictional character played by me. Any normal person would try to shut this down, and I tried, but I'm the only normal person in a family of not-so-normal people. For better or worse, the campaign ended horribly, and we were all angry with each other for quite some time. After about 2 months for everyone to cool down, I asked my mother what happened to her character. It's her character, right? So she should decide. She said that Verity boned Bone, and they were together now. God damn it. It's been about 4 years since then, and I'm starting up a new Pathfinder campaign with my parents and grandparents, and without my brother, which is a horror story for another day. This time, there will be absolutely no flirting with the DM when we return to the island. None. None whatsoever. Not happening. And although this is a sequel campaign, Verity will not be returning. I don't care that she's probably still alive. She's the new Sir not appearing in this campaign. Well guys, I never want to understand what was going through this woman's head. Like really, what in the Kentucky Fried fuck made her think that it was okay to do any amount of ERP with her son? It's one thing to engage in that type of thing with a table full of consenting adults, but to have actual family at the table doing it just makes things way too creepy, no matter what the context. And even with what happened, the OP decided to do yet another campaign with his family. I just hope that this time he's able to rein in any crap that's flung his way and shut it down before it becomes a problem. But anyway, that's it for this one, so as always, have a good one.